But I want to get a little more into the weeds here, Mike, in terms of what these new whistleblowers are claiming and or confirming. You write testimony has included both firsthand and secondhand reports of crash retrieval and reverse engineering programs by U.S., Russian, and Chinese governments, the testing of materials obtained from retrieved craft, active and ongoing government disinformation operations, kinetic military action with UAPs, contact and collaboration with non-human intelligence, and the successful reverse engineering of a triangular-shaped craft with unconventional propulsion. And that sort of gets to, Mike, what I was saying earlier about the type of technology that we may or may not be having. Like you just said, if we have this technology, where in the world did we get it from, even if we haven't mastered it yet?
Yeah, well, so I laugh a little bit when you read that paragraph, and I hesitated to include it in the article because it's so outrageous and absurd. And you, as any independent thinker, you have to assume the chances are as good of that being not that any of those things not being the case as being the case. And so what you're dealing with here and what we're reporting and not making judgment on is that this is what people are telling us. And it's not, these are not, people in psychotic states. These are people in very high positions of authority, in positions to know, well confirmed, don't appear to have any interest in sharing this, which kind of leaves you with one possibility is that it's, like I mentioned, it's a social contagion, it's psychogenic in some peculiar way that affects a certain group of people. I'm going to write an article laying out the best case for a psychogenic explanation for this. Obviously, again, the biggest problem with that explanation is just the government secrecy, because if it were just all in people's heads, you could say, or if it were just some sort of a social phenomenon, the way you get rid of that is to have greater openness and transparency, and you allow people to talk about it, and you open up the doors to the bases and the defense contractors, and you kind of go, look, there's nothing to see here. Or you might say, sure, of course, we've got secret programs, weapons programs going on, and everybody knows that. And there's just things that we can't reveal to you because it's better for the public not to know. Those aren't the behaviors that we're seeing. And that's, I think, what's so odd about this. But yeah, I mean, look, I think what's so weird about the experience and what you laugh about it is that it seems like the stories that we're hearing are some of the wildest kind of conspiracy theories that we'd been hearing for a really long time, and you don't know what to make of it. I think it's important I report on it because I think people have a right to know, but it's hard not to kind of discount it pretty significantly, obviously, until we get to the bottom of this. But yeah. I did also, I'll end by just noting that I quoted, I think maybe the most important skeptic on this issue, or at least one of the most prominent skeptics, a person named Mick West. And he said, we need to get to the bottom of this. So there's ostensibly a big divide between UFO believers and UFO skeptics. But I do think that what you find is actually that the UFO skeptics want to get to the bottom of this. They want transparency. They want disclosure just as much as the believers do.
Michael Shellenberger, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Michael.